Maybe everybody's playing cowboy and cowgirl this week, huh?
Yeah, or extending that long weekend. You guys work yesterday, Zach?
Yeah, we sure did. I did take off the afternoon though. My daughter's a Girl Scout, and she's been doing really well at selling cookies. Finally, we got rid of all the cookies because my house has just been full of cases of Girl Scout cookies. But the Girl Scouts were kind enough to give our entire family, so five of us, tickets to the Coyotes game yesterday. So that was fun to go. That kids had a good time. They'd never been to a hockey game, so that was fun.
Oh, wow.
Course, I did feel like the minority there, meaning I was the only one cheering for the Coyotes. Everybody else was cheering for the Edmonton Oilers. So I was in a sea of orange, and yeah, it was a little uncomfortable.
Oh, wow.
But such is the life of hockey in Phoenix. If you're playing a Canadian team, you will be outnumbered. So
Morning, Jeremy.
Can you hear me now, Zach?
yeah, we can.
Crazy. I don't know what's going on, why it won't read the computer.
Yeah, I don't know. There was clearly a big Zoom update because even mine, it took several minutes to push through the Zoom update. So
So you didn't tell Lance all the Canadian work we've been doing lately with Canadian Texas? Come on.
you know, that is funny. Yesterday, I did try to tell the folks sitting next to me who were rooting for the Oilers, not the Coyotes, that we do a lot of Canadian work, and by that I mean Canadian Texas. It's a place, it's a city that exists in Texas. That's its name. He wasn't buying it, so
I'm assuming you're not getting any reverb, right? Because it's not even recognizing my computer mic. So
no, yeah, I don't hear any echo, so I think we're good.
yeah.
Morning, Jeremy.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, I got you now.
All right. I don't know what was going on. Like all the pictures were like down at the bottom of the screen, and the audio was doing some weird stuff. So I'm not sure. Not sure what's happening here. I don't see anything on the screen.
Hmm.
Not sure. I can't. It's just a black screen. Sure what's going on.
Well, we've had a bunch of the Zoom issues this morning. It sounds like a lot of updates were going on. So
Yeah, I used it on Friday and everything was good. Now it's I don't know if you're sharing the screen or not, but I just have a black screen.
yeah, we're waiting for quorum slide up right now.
I don't know what's going on.
Does everybody else see that slide?
Yeah,
Yep.
I see it, Lance.
Okay.
Yep, I can see it too.
Yep, I can see it.
Morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Well, we're still a little short of quorum. We'll give it just a few more minutes. Jeremy, I knew you said you'd be late, so I was like, well, we'll just kind of hold on. But I thought some of the others would be here this morning.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get I can see like the little screen. It says the committee is waiting to establish a quorum, but it's like the size of like a quarter. And when I go to pin that to my screen or like maximize it, it like goes black. So I don't don't know what is happening. Can't figure it out.
How many more jurisdictions do you need, Lance, to get quorum?
Well, it looked like we needed one more. Jason Boley, who are you with?
I'm with Pima County.
Ah, great. Oh, yep, there you are. Huh. Yeah, so we're still looking for one more. Nope. Hey, Don, can we put the link in the chat? Or Jason Bahi's actually accessed us through YouTube. He didn't get, I guess, a panelist link.
I can resend him the invite. Give me one moment.
Okay. Hey, morning, Jason.
Good morning. Sorry, I couldn't find the link or to the Zoom meeting. Looked through all my.
Oh, we're glad you're here.
Good morning.
Let's see. So I believe that gives us quorum. I'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. So this is the Regional Pavement Management Task Force meeting. It's scheduled for 2 hours, 9 to 11 on Tuesday, February 20th. What we'll do is I'll just go down our participants list, and if you guys could just introduce yourselves and the organization you're with. I'll start. I'm Lance Peterson. I'm with PAG. Peter, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Morning, everybody. I'm Peter Kane. I'm with the City of Tucson Department of Transportation and Mobility and Pavement Management section.
Thanks, Peter. Todd?
Morning, everyone. Todd Kessler, City of Tucson.
Jeremy?
Jeremy Moore with ADOT.
Thanks, Jeremy. Michelle?
Hi, I'm Michelle Montanino. I'm with Pima County Department of Transportation.
Thanks, Michelle. Jason Boley.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jason Bully. I'm with Pima County Department of Transportation in their pavement management group.
Thanks, Jason. Jason Bahi.
Hello, Jason Bahi, Pasquiyaki Tribe.
And Walter Jackson.
Walter Jackson with the Town Valley Pavement Management.
Great. And I just want to take a little bit of time here, just real quick, to acknowledge the PAG staff that are helping me facilitate the meeting. So we got Crystal Spires, Brianna Hoishman, Jeff Hillenbrand, Don Garcia, and Isa Rodriguez are all helping me. And Jeff Hillenbrand, I think I got you, Jeff. Sorry. But thanks to everyone helping to facilitate the meeting. And with that, we'll go to our next in-kind reporting. So regional planning efforts are enhanced by recording time donated by attendees, volunteers, and participants. PAG collects data on the time dedicated to meetings and activities to apply for use as matching funds for grants and federal dollars. If you're paid with federal dollars, please let us know now. Time spent in preparation for this meeting will be estimated by PAG staff who are knowledgeable of the agenda and meeting materials. At the conclusion of this meeting, the session report will automatically calculate your time spent in this meeting. Time spent working on PAG RTA initiatives, programs, and special projects may also be eligible for consideration for matching funds. So if you could let us know that, we would appreciate it. And that brings us really to item 3, update and introduction discussion of our regional pavement data collection with Roadway Asset Services. So what I wanted to do was give everybody an opportunity, if you haven't already. I know quite a few of the jurisdictions have already reached out to you, Zach, and have started communication but to start this off, I'm still currently, ADOT is working on, they finalized the panels that they're going to be sampling for us regionally on our major streets and routes, and they're going to be getting me those, I anticipate, in the next week or so. And so with that, I'll turn it over to you, Zach, to determine the rest of our major streets and routes that are going to be collected. Given a 2 weeks or so timeline, I don't know if you could take a stab at when you think you'll be down here to be doing the collection for our regional pavement sections.
Yeah, absolutely. So great to be here with everybody today. And yeah, in terms of timing, Lance, if we get the ADOT center lines in the next 2 weeks, we're probably looking at about a middle of April mobilization to start collecting data. So middle of April is probably a safe bet, knowing that we'll get center lines here in the next few weeks.
You know, Zach, I got to apologize because I skipped over you. I went right down our jurisdictions and didn't give you or Bart a chance to introduce yourself. So let's go ahead and let you introduce yourself because you're the main player today. So
absolutely. No, absolutely. Thank you for that. Zach Thomason, Senior Vice President with Roadway Asset Services and assigned project manager for this project. A quick intro of RAS, if you're not familiar with us, we are pavement and asset management consultants. So we collect and capture a lot of different types of information in the field. One of those includes pavement condition on roadways as well. And then we often work with cities and counties and state DOTs to take that data, load it into pavement management programs, run budgetary modeling, budgetary forecasting as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to Bart.
Thanks, everybody. I'm Bart Williamson, CEO of Roadway Asset Services, and definitely excited about doing this. We've been working with Michelle over at the county for the last couple of years, so she can tell you a little bit about us as well.
Great. Thanks, Bart. So, Zach, back on Zach or Bart, thinking mid-April or so, April timeframe for our collection. How long do you guys anticipate it will take to collect the remainder of our roadway assets?
Yeah, so actual collection, I've got estimated right now at about 2.5 months, depending on weather. Now, we should be in the driest months here in Arizona. For those that don't know me, I am local here in AZ, just up north in Chandler. So given the fact that we should be in the driest months of the year, we should have pretty good weather. So 2.5 months should be a safe bet. It might be a little faster than that.
Great. So 2.5 months. I don't know if, so what I could do, and I don't know if everybody's had a chance to take a look at the contract and some of the additional services that you guys are providing, but RAS's contract is currently on our PAG website. It's under the Info Center and under the RFQ tab. So you can find the complete contract with their fee schedule for additional services as well. I guess I kind of like to just open it up and see if anybody locally here has any questions or any concerns for you, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is
Jeremy?
Jeremy. Yeah, I got it. Are you guys, is RAS running stuff for ADOT or is it just the local stuff?
Well, they're doing stuff for us regionally, Jeremy. So they're not. ADOT has got their own contract, and they are collecting a portion of our regional major streets and routes, and RAS is going to supplement what's being collected by ADOT. So basically,
Who are you working with through ADOT? Robert Bush?
Yeah, Robert is actually, he let me know that basically last year's sample panels are going to be the same as what they're going to collect this year. So he was just going to forward me those that I can share with Zach, and then we can kind of establish just what we're going to collect regionally.
All right.
So I know ADOT is only collecting one side of the road. So what our intent is to supplement what ADOT's collecting. We'll do the opposite side of the road that ADOT's collected, as well as tying in on the major streets and routes to give us a complete overview of our pavement conditions. So,
okay.
Yeah, no, Robert's been great to work with. So,
yeah, I just wanted to make sure I understood what was happening, but yeah, that makes sense. I'm good.
Nope. So let's see. Anybody you've not talked to locally, Zach, that's on this meeting? That Jason, have you had a chance to meet Jason Bahi?
I have not had a chance to meet Jason. Yeah, I've talked with Tucson, so we're actually talking right now with Todd and Peter and Walter. Good to see you, man. It's been a few months since we last chatted, but yeah, I've not had an opportunity to meet Jason.
Jason, do you have any specific questions maybe for Zach or Bart on services or?
Yeah, I'm new here, so well, not exactly new, but what services are you providing? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So we will be conducting a pavement condition evaluation. So we're going to be driving a van that's outfitted with lasers and cameras. It's going to be capturing pavement condition information. So it's going to be quantifying all the different types of pavement distresses, cracking and rutting and roughness and things like that. And then we're going to be aggregating that information to calculate what we call a PCI score. So a pavement condition index. That ranks the health of a road on a 0 to 100 scale. 0, absolutely horrible on its way back to gravel. 100, a perfectly brand new road paved yesterday. So we'll be running around PAG and grabbing the arterials, and I think the major collectors or some of the major collectors there, Lance, are probably going to be included in that. Within the PAG contract, though, we do have a list of, it's not really a list, it's more like a catalog of services that we can provide to member agencies. So that includes surveying any local residential roads that you may have that are not covered under the PAG contract. So we can supplement the data collection by also collecting data on the local residential roads, but also a full suite of other services that we offer our clients throughout the country too, that range from loading this data into a pavement management program you may have. Some of you operate Cartograph, some may operate Street Saver or Lucidity or Street Logics or DOT, lots of different types of software. And we work with most of them. So the catalog of services include services such as loading it to your existing pavement management software or running budgetary models to determine how much funding you need to maintain existing conditions in your network, or even conducting roadside feature inventories. So as the van drives, we're capturing full panoramic right-of-way imagery. So we can build inventories for literally anything in the right of way. So signs and supports, guardrails, marking and striping, sidewalks, curb and gutter, all of that, all of those are assets that you folks maintain, and all of that can be inventoried from the imagery. So the catalog is really meant to be more like an a la carte menu to show you the full suite of services that we can offer and provide to the member agencies.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a list of collectors that you'll be surveying?
So we're gonna get that here in the next couple of weeks, it sounds like, from ADOT. So as soon as we get the center lines, we'll be able to plot that up. We'll know exactly which roads we're surveying. That'll go back and forth between us and PAG a few times to make sure that we're capturing all of the right routes and all of the right roads as a part of that survey. So as soon as we clarify and query those roads, we'll have a map that we can share with everyone so that everyone knows what roads we're surveying.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Jose, I see you've made it. So sorry I missed you downstairs. I was just going to bring you up to my office so you didn't have to hurry back to get into the meeting, but glad you're here. I don't know if you want to take a moment and introduce yourself.
Yes, good morning. This is Jose Rodriguez. I'm with the town of War Valley. I was actually downtown. I thought it was a in-person meeting. I found out it was virtual, so I ran back to the office. So trying to catch up with what's going on. I guess Jason just asked the question I was going to ask. You have a list of the roadway projects you guys are going to assess, and when are you planning on doing it?
So they're planning on, Jose, we're thinking that ADOT's going to give me the list that they're collecting here in the next week or two, and I'll turn around and give that to Zach, and then he can pull out what ADOT's collecting and determine just what he needs to collect to supplement that data. So with the 2-week time frame, he's thinking that they'll be down in April to start collecting regionally, and he's thinking that it's about a 2.5-month process to collect everything that we'll have
For the entire region?
For the entire region.
Okay. What if we wanted to, well, I got to look at the contract. You said the contract's online?
Contract is online under the info center at the PAG website under RFP, RFQ, and then it's got the whole contract in there.
I guess the question is, if we wanted to add some local streets, when do you need to know if we're going to add local streets to the contract, or do we just contract directly to RAS with RAS? How's
yeah,
that?
You would contract directly with RAS.
Okay. And Raz, when do you need to know if we're going to add more roads to that list that you guys can have here pretty soon?
So long as we know, I'd say in the next month or two, well, let me rephrase that. So long as we have some sort of notice to proceed in the next month or two, that should be fine, because the collection itself is going to take about 2 months, 2.5 months to do. We probably won't be mobilizing until middle of April. So we do have some time to get that squared away. So one of the things that I can do, Jose, is we can chat offline, and what we can do is we can build a proposal that's based on the PAG catalog rates.
Okay.
So, and based on the services that you would like, whether that includes just collection of the local roads or even supplemental services like loading the data into Cartograph OMS. There is a line item in the catalog for doing so. And even for configuring all of that parameter intelligence that goes into Scenario Builder so that we can run budgetary models and forecasting in Cartograph as well. All of that is supplemental services that are included in the catalog that can be a part of the project.
Great. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about, how the data is going to be offered back to us. Obviously, we use Cartograph. You know that. We spoke a couple of months ago. So yeah, definitely want to talk offline.
Okay, perfect. We can do that.
Thanks. Thanks, Lance.
Sure. Again, sorry, you snuck out pretty quick, Jose. I was trying to catch you, so you didn't have to hurry back to your office.
When they told me it was live, I had to go get back to the office. I mean, virtual.
I was like, I tried to catch you, bring you up to my office, and just let you be part of the meeting here. So, do we have any additional questions, maybe for Zach or Bart?
I got a question, Zach and Bart. When you guys come through to do the collection, I know when I spoke to you, Zach, previously, are you guys going to meet individually with each jurisdiction to kind of discuss the method of collection, agreeing to what is what, understanding the type of distresses and how the detections are reading those, so we understand what, alligator, block, transversive, longitudinal cracking, weather raveling, just so that we understand what's being collected and how it's being identified.
Right. Yeah. That'll likely happen in a one-off scenario with each agency. So if you do contract and use the PAG contract to pick up your local roadways as well, we can schedule one-on-one time for that. What we could do as a part of this effort is we can do an on-site field pilot where we invite all members of the team, Lance, to the field to kind of do a field day. And that's where we take a look at some initial conditions in the field such that everyone understands and is comfortable with the protocols that we're using for collection. So, and those are commonly referred to as ASTM D6433, but that would be a combined singular meeting. That way we get everyone together. Anybody who's interested can come out and we can talk through some of the data on a few pilot roads.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, Zach, I was going to say that sounds like a great idea. We can have like an all day, or not even an all day, but if we can have the person off of the region and show up, and you guys can demonstrate to us what exactly is that you guys can deliver.
Yep,
Great.
absolutely.
Great. We could work on setting up a time that'll make that work. Then I'll work with you, Zach, on setting that up.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to apologize because we're mobilizing probably middle of April. So by the time we do the pilots, probably gonna be into May, middle end of May. So it's gonna be a little hot, a little warm, but we'll make it work.
A lot of Gatorade.
Exactly, a lot of Gatorade. You're right.
All right, so what do you anticipate giving us that list of roadways that are going to be collected, the data?
I should be getting those. They didn't change from last year, and so Robert Bush from ADOT is going to get me what ADOT has collected, and so then once I give you that information, Zach, and ask you to pull out what you're going to be sampling, how long, once we have that regional data from ADOT, do you think before we'd have the rest of the roadways that we're collecting?
Within a week and a half, we can query that and have a map back that shows you, okay, here's what ADOT's doing. We know that definitively. Here's everything else that's left to collect as a part of the PAG contract.
Great. So, hopefully, Jose, we'll have all that within a month. So,
oh, great.
I do have a question about what RAS is collecting and then ADOT's collecting. You guys are collecting the remainder of what ADOT did not collect. How are you guys kind of taking the data collection? Because I'm not sure if they're the same, and kind of combining that overall condition index with, I'm assuming, two different practices. Maybe I could be wrong. I'm just curious on how you guys pick up and then how you take that data back and then kind of create that overall condition index based on how they're collected and how you guys are going to collect.
Yeah, so in terms of how we're collecting, it's more about how we're processing. So we use the exact same equipment, hardware, and technology that ADOT is using to survey their roads, but it's more about how you post-process that information. So I mentioned it earlier, we're going to adhere to the standards called ASTM D6433. Those are the standards that most municipalities adopt throughout the country, especially in Arizona. So if you are a Cartograph user, if you are a Street Saver user, a Lucity user, any of those users, it's 99% likely that you adopt ASTM D6433. So we're going to process it specifically. We're going to process the data that we capture specifically to meet that requirement so that it's applicable to you folks. Most state DOTs adopt a standard that's related to the FHWA, SHARP, LTPP. I apologize for all the acronyms. This industry is just loaded with them. They adopt a different standard that's very specific to state DOTs as well, not as applicable to municipalities. So the data that we're capturing and we're processing as a part of this contract will be processed so that you can pick it up and use it in the future as well.
All right, thank you.
And the information, Walter, that ADOT's providing, it'll mesh, but it'll be from two different, they're two different contractors, but.
Hey, Lance, what's the frequency on the data collection? Is it every other year or 2 years, or what is it?
We're every 3 years.
Huh?
Now, ADOT collects theirs every year.
So you said every 2 years or every 3 years?
Every three.
Every 3 years.
Is in our contract.
Okay.
And Zach, I didn't know if maybe you wanted to share your contact information for those that haven't reached out to you on some of the specifics you guys provide.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely do that. I'm looking for a chat function. Anybody knows the whiteboard an appropriate place? No, that's not. Normally there's a chat function where I can include that for everyone, but I'm not seeing it.
Unfortunately, we aren't allowed to have the chat enabled for these meetings just due to open meeting laws on our end.
Okay.
So we don't have the chat or the whiteboard functions available. I apologize for that.
No, no worries, no worries.
If you want to send something, we're happy to send it out to all the participants on the call if you'd like, if you want to send it over to us.
Perfect. That's what I'll do. Yep, that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Shoot over my contact information, and then you folks can distribute that out and go from there.
Great. Well, I appreciate it. Any other questions for Zach or Bart? And kind of where we're heading next? Not seeing any hands. We still got an hour and 10 minutes to go here.
Well, I can talk pavement management all day long, but I'm pretty sure Michelle, Todd, and Walter, and all those that have already talked to me know that I can go on forever. So I will not do that in this case.
Okay.
And for some time back, Zach, so.
And so I know in our discussion, it sounds like kind of getting together for a field visit for a pilot, just kind of talking about what you guys are going to be collecting is what the region would like to see coming up.
Right.
Anybody disagree with moving forward that way? Sounds like that is a plan that I'll work with you, Zach, on then as we move forward.
Sounds good.
I don't have anything else, and if there's no other questions, I think we can move to adjournment.
Do you have another meeting planned after this one, or next step?
I don't, maybe I can look to try to set something up, and let's see, we're thinking it'll be about a month before we have kind of outlined all the roadways. So maybe I shoot for March, beginning of April for our next, just to kind of outline our time frame and the roadways that'll be collected. Does that seem reasonable with everyone?
Yes,
That works for us. Yeah.
works for me.
Oh, Todd's got his hand up.
Yeah, sorry, just no objections to what you're talking about. Just a question. Can review the contract, but more for the group, I guess. Zach, is the PAC contract include any hosting to where via website we'll be able to traverse the what you drove, or is it clearly gonna or solely gonna be per asset condition? I don't know if that made any sense.
Yeah.
Like
No,
segment,
no,
and
it
here's
does.
your PCI, or are we going to actually see the individual data that got rolled up to that?
Right. So there's a couple different ways to go about it. So within the optional elements within the catalog, we do have an optional item for a web-hosted video logger that is built to consume all the imagery that we capture in the field that folks can access. It's an optional item, certainly not required. But one of the things that I was chatting with Lance about, one of the things that we do is we truly try to provide the data in as many data formats as possible so that everyone is comfortable. Some folks are comfortable in Excel, and if that's the case, that's perfectly fine. We can export all of our data to Excel. All of our data lives in a spatial environment. So if you are GIS savvy and you'd prefer to see the data in a file geodatabase, perfect. We can send you the file geodatabase because that's the native format that all of our data resides in. If you're not as GIS savvy, that's okay too, because there's a couple of different things that we can do to help folks view the data. The first is we harness ArcGIS Online. If you're not familiar with it, all it is a very easy mapping tool online that allows you to view the data that's been captured. So we'll be able to plot up the network conditions, the PCI scores for every segment and every agency, and you'll be able to have access to that. If that still doesn't make one comfortable, we can also produce the PCI data in a Google Earth KMZ file. And it's as simple as clicking it, Google Earth pops up, all the PCI condition data loads up within it as well. So we're going to be providing the data in multiple formats to ensure that every member of this very large team has something that they're comfortable with, because some are GIS savvy, others are not, and we want to make sure that everyone gets access to the data. Does that answer the question, Todd?
Yeah, if I can just build off of it a little bit. So it's safe to say that PAG's contract, you're not going to be hosting. That would be up to the jurisdictions to add, while you are making available in any format, pretty much, whether AGOL or whatever. We can get that as part of the PAG contract, but the actual hosting, it would be something jurisdictions would have to add for the major streets.
Correct. Right.
Yep. So regardless of format, the data, and this maybe goes kind of to the field trip aspect of it as well, you know, being able to see what it looks like visually as like, what are we going to actually receive? Field trip, I guess you could have a laptop there. It's safe to say those will be lines, segments. With a PCI, we're not going to actually see data points. Is that fair?
Kind
or
of
accurate?
So yes, it's going to be a line feature. We'll have PCIs related to each line feature so that you know the 0 to 100 score. But more than that too, we're going to have all the individual distress density measurements associated with that as well. So when we do go out into the field, or when you folks see the data for the first time, you're going to have the individual distress density. So you're going to know if a particular segment is scoring, let's say a 47, and it's exhibiting, 20% of the area is exhibiting alligator cracking, you're going to be able to see that and validate that in the field. So you'll have access to the what I'll call the detailed data that includes the individual distress densities, or one of my favorite ways to see it, we also provide you the information that shows you the deduct value associated with each distress. All that means is it's showing you how many points from a perfect score of 100 are being subtracted because of any given distress. So whether it's moderate severity, longitudinal transverse cracking, or high severity rutting, we're going to display the data in that fashion too. So again, it's about making sure that everybody's comfortable with the data. Not everybody thinks in terms of density of area. And I know for me and for others, sometimes just seeing the deduct points associated with each distress kind of puts things in perspective in an easier manner. So you will have access to all of that, but it will be tied to the line feature that we receive from ADOT.
Thank you.
Walter, I saw your hand up there. Did you have anything you wanted to ask, or?
Yeah, Zach, just from, because we work closely with our IT people, when should we be bringing them on board? Once you receive the list and we start going through this, we kind of want to prepare them because they're going to be the ones receiving this and uploading it to everything. So I just want to make sure they have a good heads up that we're not the cog in the wheel when it comes to receiving the data. So when do you suggest that we bring them aboard to start talking to you or something?
That is a wonderful question, and I'm so glad you're thinking that far ahead, because it is absolutely important to make sure that your GIS and your IT folks are on board, because a lot of times they are the recipients of this data and they're probably not going to like surprises. So in that case, Walter, typically it takes us about 90 days after collection to process everything up and to have all those PCI scores and distress density information available. So I would say a reasonable time to start engaging in that discussion and getting those folks to the table so that they understand what's coming down the line is when the van mobilizes or when the van leaves. So that'll give us time, a few months, to get IT and GIS prep so that they understand what they're getting. And in this case, what we're delivering is very simple file formats that they are absolutely comfortable with. So I don't foresee any issues on that side.
Okay, appreciate that. So, we're going to start collecting mid-April. So then I'll talk to Jose and we'll start having that conversation with them, kind of letting them know what you guys are doing so they can kind of prepare themselves to receive that data as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Great. Any other questions? All right. I'm not seeing any. So we are at adjournment. And I appreciate you all being here, and I look forward to our next meeting, probably the beginning of April, or by the beginning of April.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach.
Bye.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.